Join ForumIAS Academy, trusted by hundreds of toppers, including IAS Rank 1 Shruti Sharma.
Good evening, aspirants. Welcome to the Hindu news analysis discussion brought to you by ForumIAS for the date 5th June 2023. These are the list of news articles for today's discussion. We will be covering 5 topics, each from polity, governance, science and technology, economics, and a topic from international relations. At the end of the discussion, we will also be covering 2 previous year prelims questions for understanding the trends in UPSC Prelims examination. So with this, straight away, let us move to our first article. First topic, creeping change. See, in the year 2021, 5 Hindu women filed the Shringar Gauri Gyanvapi case in the court of Civil Judge Varanasi. The plaintiffs means someone who files a case in the court, had sought the right of daily worship at Ma Shringar Gauri Sthal in Gyanvapi mosque complex. See, the controversy erupted in the year 1991 when a group of local priests sought permission to worship in the Gyanvapi complex. Hindu priests claimed that the mosque was built on the demolished portion of Kashi Vishwanath temple. Then the matter was reignited after the petitioners demanded an archaeological survey of Gyanvapi complex. But earlier, the Allahabad High Court stayed the archaeological study of the complex. Then after this 2021 case only, a videography survey of the mosque was ordered. The Muslim side alleged bias from the side of the court-appointed commissioner of the survey and called videography inside the mosque as a violation of the Places of Worship Act of 1991. Know that the Anjuman Intazamiya Masjid Committee representing Muslims moved to the Supreme Court arguing that the proceedings were an attempt to change religious character of the mosque. They said that the Places of Worship Act of 1991 bars the conversion of religious character of the mosque or any place of worship from how it existed on August 15th of 1947. But the Supreme Court transferred the case to the district judge. Here the Supreme Court said that it would intervene only after the district judge had decided on the preliminary aspect of the case. But after the accusation from the Muslim clergies, the district court has said that court commissioner accused of biased conduct will not be changed, and in that case, 2 more commissioners will join the archaeological survey of the Gyanvapi mosque to ensure neutrality. The court also ordered the continuation of the video survey of the Kashi Vishwanath temple, that is the Gyanvapi mosque complex, and has asked the commissioners to submit the report. But now this case is in news because recently even the Allahabad High Court ruled that the suit filed by 5 Hindu women is limited in scope because the petitioners are seeking only the right to worship Hindu deities and there is no attempt to convert the mosque into temple. This view of High Court is said to possibly legitimize the questioning of mosque status. As a result, the bench led by Justice J.J. Munir held that the suit is not barred under the Places of Worship Act of 1991. So from this context, let us know more about the Act. See, the Places of Worship Act was passed in the year 1991. It seeks to maintain the religious character of the place of worship as it was in the year 1947. Know that the Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid dispute was exempted from this Act. Now, if we take the key provisions of the Act, under Section 3, it says that no person shall convert any place of worship of any religious denomination into one of different denominations or section. Then, under the Section 4, all cases for converting the character of a place of worship that were pending on August 15th on 1947 will be declared void with the enforcement of this Act, and no fresh proceeding can be filed after that. However, legal proceedings can be initiated if the change of status of religious character of worship place took place after the cutoff date of August 15th, 1947. Then under Section 6, it prescribes 3-year imprisonment and a fine for breach of the provision. Then this act also provides for exemption, which is mentioned under the section 5 of the act. It says that the act shall not be applied to Ram Janmabhoomi Babri Masjid dispute. Other than that, the act also exempts when any place of worship that is ancient and historical monument or an archaeological site. But know that such places must be covered by the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act of 1958. Then another exemption is that when there is a suit that has been finally settled or disposed, then any dispute that has been settled by the parties or conversion of any place that took place by consent before the act commenced. So these are the 3 exemptions that are provided under section 5. Then if we take how the Supreme Court views this act, in the year 2019 Ayodhya verdict, the Constitution bench led by former Chief Justice of India has referred to the law and said that it manifests the secular values of the Constitution and strictly prohibits retrogression. Now coming to the key objections to the act by certain petitioners, the petitioners has challenged the Places of Worship Act of 1991 on these 3 grounds. First is that the act violates secularism. According to them, it prohibits Hindus, Jains, Buddhists, Sikhs from reclaiming their places of worship which were invaded and encroached upon by the fundamentalist invaders. Then secondly, the center has no power to legislate on pilgrimage or burial grounds which is under the state list. However, the government had said that it could make use of its residuary power under the entry 97 of the union list to enact this law, and the entry 97 confers the residuary power to the center to legislate on subjects that are not enumerated in any of the 3 lists. Then thirdly, the cutoff date of the act is the date of independence. It means that status quo determined by the colonial power is considered final. So these are few objections that are raised against the act. We can use these points in mains answer writing. So from exam point of view, this information is enough from the editorial part. With this, let us close this topic here and move to the next part. Second topic, the Delhi Ordinance is an unabashed power grab. See, on May 11th this year, a 5-judge constitution bench led by Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud had unanimously gave a judgment. In that, the Supreme Court held that elected government of Delhi had legislative and administrative powers over the civil services. But even after that 8-year-long legal battle and the views of Supreme Court, the Union government is not satisfied with the power sharing scheme. After that judgment from the Supreme Court, May 19th this year, the Union government promulgated an ordinance to amend the Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi Act 1991. This ordinance removes the entry services of the state list from the Delhi government's control, which means the elected government of Delhi alone will not have the legislative and administrative powers over the civil services. So we can infer that the ordinance has effectively nullified the Supreme Court judgment on the powers over bureaucratic appointments in Delhi. In addition to the removal of entry in the state list, ordinance also creates a National Capital Civil Services Authority. This National Capital Civil Services Authority consists of Chief Minister of Delhi, Chief Secretary of Delhi and Principal Secretary of Home Department to decide on services matter in Delhi. Know that since there are 3 persons in the National Capital Civil Services Authority, the decision of the authority will be made through majority voting, which means that 2 bureaucrats appointed by the central government could overrule the Chief Minister. Further, the ordinance provides that if there is going to be any disagreement between the authority and the Lieutenant Governor, the decision of the Lieutenant Governor shall prevail. We already know Lieutenant Governor are appointed by the President based on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers at the union level. So ultimately, the Lieutenant Governor will be the voice of central government only. By this way, the ordinance is said to be favorable to union government in appointments of bureaucrats in Delhi. Here, the opinion section says that the ordinance raises multiple legal, political questions regarding federalism, democracy, bureaucratic accountability, and judicial review. Several opposition parties, barring the Congress, have supported the Aam Aadmi government in its opposition to the ordinance. But the principal opposition, which is the INC, says that cooperative federalism principles doesn't fit Delhi since it is the national capital. This could also be taken as a valid point here. So in this context, the opinion says that it is important to examine the ideas of federalism, how it fits in Delhi. Now let us see how Delhi is unique from other states and union territories. See, you must know that Delhi is only union territory that derives power directly from the constitution. Rest of the union territories are governed through a law that are enacted by the parliament. Recently, the Supreme Court also had such a view and mentioned that addition of Article 239AA in the constitution accorded the National Capital Territory of Delhi a unique status. See, India's constitution has several examples of special governance arrangements which treats federal units differently from each other. For example, in our case, Article 239AA for Delhi is one of the special governance arrangement. We also had Article 370 for Jammu and Kashmir, and we are also having special governance mechanisms for certain states under Article 371 of the Constitution. This variation in the governance for different states is what we call it as asymmetric federalism. This model accommodates the interest of various social groups through territorial units and suits best to countries that have deep social cleavages along ethnic, linguistic and cultural lines. The author says that even the Supreme Court has used asymmetric federalism framework to clarify the position of National Capital Territory of Delhi in India's federal scheme. See, Supreme Court views that though National Capital Territory of Delhi is not a full-fledged state, Article 239AA of the Constitution creates a asymmetric federal model for the Delhi Union Territory. So, while the National Capital Territory of Delhi remains a union territory, the unique constitutional status conferred upon it makes it a federal entity similar to a state units. So diluting the power of an elected government and giving the discretionary power to an appointed lieutenant governor cannot be an example of cooperative federalism. Then the other matter is regarding the passage of ordinance itself. Firstly, the author questions the hasty manner in which the ordinance was passed to undo the judgment of the constitutional bench. He says that while the legislature can alter the legal basis of the judgment, it cannot directly overrule it. But the ordinance is directly overruling the judgment. If this is how the ordinance are going to be passed, then why do we need to move to courts and fight the legal battle? Then even the credibility of the constitutional bench will be questioned. Secondly, the Supreme Court in the DC Wadhwa case held that executive lawmaking through an ordinance is only to meet an extraordinary situation and it cannot be used to serve political ends. Then earlier we saw the entry services got removed from the state list of National Capital Territory of Delhi. Here you must know that if we need to add an additional subject of exemption to the existing exemptions of Delhi's legislative power listed in Article 239AA, the constitution has to be amended. To be clear, already we have three subjects: land, public order and police, which are exempted from Delhi's legislative power. So if we want to add one more list to it, in this case services is the subject that the central government wants to remove. No, for that the constitution has to be amended. But here an ordinance was only passed. Finally, the author says creating a civil services authority where bureaucrats can overrule an elected chief minister destroys long established norms on bureaucratic accountability. This is said to undermine the power of an elected government as well. For all these reasons, the opinion concludes by saying that the ordinance which is passed by the union government is a direct assault on federalism and democracy. So that is what the author has mentioned in his opinion section. So from this article we saw about the ordinance which was passed by the union government and the opinion and criticisms surrounding this ordinance. So with this, let us close this topic here. Third topic, understanding the Kavach system. We know, right? a train crash in eastern India last week was the country's worst rail disaster in 2 decades. This accident killed more than 270 people, and it renewed questions about rail safety in India that has invested heavily in the system. So in this context only, we are going to discuss about Kavach system. See, Kavach is an indigenously developed automatic train protection system for Indian Railways. If we take the main functions of Kavach, it is designed to bring a train to a halt automatically when it notices another train on the same line within a prescribed distance. Know that Research Design and Standards Organization of the Ministry of Railways, in collaboration with Indian industries, has developed this system. Now if we take the features of Kavach, Kavach prevents trains from passing the signal and avoids collisions. Secondly, Kavach activates the train braking system automatically if the driver fails to control the train as per the speed restrictions. Then auto whistling while approaching level crossing gates is one of the features of Kavach. Then know that SOS messaging during emergency situation is one of the features of Kavach. Then centralized live monitoring of train movements through network monitor system is facilitated using Kavach system. See, the protection system of Kavach works through RFID tags. The equipments that are required for communication are placed on the moving trains and transmission towers at the stations. This transmission towers at stations is connected with the radio frequency identification tags also. Through these equipments and RFID tags, two-way communication between the station master and loco pilot is established. So during any emergency situation, messaging between the station master and loco pilot is made easy. Then the instrument panel inside the cabin helps the loco pilot know about the signal in advance without any visual sighting. And then even the permissible speeds that has to be maintained are mentioned in the panel. Thirdly, know that if a red signal is turned on and two trains come face to face on the same line, the technology automatically takes over and applies sudden brakes. Additionally, the train horn activates by itself when approaching a level crossing, alerting the loco drivers. But however, many experts say that if an obstruction comes suddenly in front of the high moving vehicle, then no technology in the world could prevent an accident. Which means Kavach system can guarantee protection only to a certain limit. Know that the South Central Railway Zone is a pioneer in implementing of Kavach system, and the Kavach system has been deployed over 1465 kilometers in the South Central Railway limits till March this year. Additionally, the Secunderabad based Indian Railways Institute of Signal Engineering and Telecommunication hosts the Center of Excellence. Now let us see the significance of Kavach. See, Kavach is one of the cheapest safety integrity level 4 certified technology with the probability of an error being 1 in 10,000 years. Secondly, Kavach opens avenue of export of this indigenous technology for railways. Thirdly, Kavach helps the railways to achieve the goal of zero accidents. So these are few significance of Kavach. So from this news article, we saw about Kavach, the working of the railway protection system in a comprehensive way. So with this, let us close this topic here. Fourth topic, quick win reforms can spur economy this year, says CII chief. The president of CII believes that there is scope for some quick win reforms amid this election year to boost the economy. In an interview with The Hindu, the president of Confederation of Indian Industry stresses that several industrial segments like steel, cement, as well as services like hotels and aviation are seeing high capacity utilization rates. So from this news article, let us know about CII and some of its initiatives from exam point of view. First is about CII. See, it is a non-government, not-for-profit, industry-led and industry-managed organization. Know that it was founded in the year 1895 and its headquarters is in New Delhi. CII works to create and sustain an environment that is conducive to the development of industry. It is done by partnering industry, government and civil society through advisory and consultative processes. See, CII has embarked on smarter initiatives that enhances the competitiveness of Indian industries. It is done by underlining the need for rapid upgradation on parameters like quality, corporate governance, energy efficiency and environment management. If we take the initiatives of CII, they have taken many steps to enhance the competitiveness of Indian industry. One among that is the Specialized Services Division. This division aims to provide solutions to organizations not just for their competitiveness needs, but also to help them become more self-reliant by helping them develop flexible strategies. Then another group is the Corporate Services Group within CII. This group assists companies to maximize corporate and shareholder value through a range of activities covering consulting, research projects and research papers. Then another significant move is the Energy Management Division under CII. It provides its expertise to domestic as well as overseas organizations. The range of service offered includes in-house and center-wise intensive training programs, specific energy consumption norms, and conducting international conferences or exhibitions on trends in energy efficiency. Then through the Brand India campaign, CII strives to build brand salience for India by positioning India as a globally competitive and sound investment destination. Know that the Integrity India campaign of CII takes on the challenge of working to improve probity in public life by putting the issue of integrity on the front burner. Then CII's Social Development and Community Affairs Council has pledged the allegiance of all members, taking more for India slogan to their boardroom agenda. Taking that into account, the CII's Social Development and Community Affairs Council covers various issues like education, child rehabilitation, women empowerment, population, healthcare and control of HIV/AIDS for social development. So these are the various initiatives that are undertaken by Confederation of Indian Industries. So from this news article we saw about CII and various initiatives that are undertaken by the private players. So with this, let us close this news article here and move to the final topic of the day. Fifth and the final topic, NATO chief urges Turkey not to veto Sweden's bid. The news is that the NATO chief called upon Turkey to drop its opposition to Sweden's bid to join the US-led defense alliance. From this news section, let us know comprehensively about NATO. Know that recently Finland also joined the NATO group. Let us know the reason to it and why the Scandinavian countries are urging to join the defense group. NATO, this stands for North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It is a military alliance established by the North Atlantic Treaty, which is also called as Washington Treaty of 1949. See, this alliance strives to secure a lasting peace in Europe based on the common values of individual liberty, democracy, human rights and the rule of law. Its initial members included United States, Canada and several Western European nations, but however the membership gradually expanded over the years and eventually reached 31. And know that it was established during the Cold War in response to the threat posed by Soviet Union, erstwhile Soviet Union. The alliance has remained in place since the end of the Cold War and has been involved in the military operations in Middle East, South Asia as well as in Africa. Importantly, know that the NATO is based on the principle of collective security or collective defense. And a NATO decision is the expression of a collective will of all the 31 member countries, since all decisions are taken by consensus. And know that the NATO's headquarters is located in the city of Brussels, which is in Belgium. The most recent member states to be added to NATO was the North Macedonia, which got included in the NATO in the month of March 2020, and now the country Finland also joined the group. Moreover, the NATO currently recognizes Bosnia, Herzegovina, Georgia and Ukraine as aspiring members. Now let us see the objectives of NATO. First is the political objective. See, NATO promotes democratic values and enables members to consult and cooperate on defense and security related issues so that problems are solved in a peaceful manner. Then the NATO grouping allows its members to build trust and in long run prevent conflicts between them. Then it also adds to a military objective where the NATO is committed to peaceful resolution of disputes. If diplomatic efforts fail, then the NATO has the military power to undertake crisis management operations. These are carried out under the collective defense clause of NATO founding treaty or under a UN mandate. The collective defense which I have been mentioning is that the NATO is committed to the principle that an attack against one or several of its members is considered as an attack against all the countries. This is the principle of collective defense, which is enshrined in the Article 5 of the Washington Treaty. So far, Article 5 has been invoked only once. That was in response to 9/11 terrorist attacks in the United States. Then the other objective is the building of transatlantic link. See, NATO is an alliance of countries from Europe and North America. It provides a unique link between the two continents, enabling them to consult and cooperate in the field of defense and security. Recently, we came across news that NATO condemned Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine starting Feb 2022. There, NATO called Russia's invasion as unjustified, and as per the grouping, Russia's invasion is a grave violation of international law and a serious threat to Euro-Atlantic security. Then the alliance also condemned the Russia's decision to extend recognition to the separatist regions of eastern Ukraine. I'm saying this here because Russia's continuous aggression against countries in Western and Eastern Europe is also one of the reasons why Finland joined NATO. Even in the two world wars that took place, Finland felt more threatened by the erstwhile Soviet Union than Germany. Historically also, USSR and Finland had a war between them in the year 1941, in which Finland was defeated, but fortunately Finland prevented occupation of USSR on their land, and moreover Finland had also managed to prevent the spread of communist ideology from the erstwhile USSR. As said earlier, historically as well as in the current event, Finland is more concerned about their security and defense on seeing the Russia's aggressive stand in Western East Europe, and moreover Finland shares border with Russia now. So the decision of Finland to join NATO can be viewed as a rational choice. That is, Finland after joining the NATO will receive additional security guarantees from NATO, which are specified in Article 5 of NATO's founding treaty. That is what we saw about the collective defense principle earlier. So from now onwards, any attack on Finland will be taken as an attack on the entire NATO countries. This is what the Finland will gain to add to its deterrence policy, and this decision is not taken suddenly. The cooperation between Finland and NATO began in 1994 itself with the Partnership for Peace program. In addition to it, Finland had the status of enhanced opportunity partner before joining the NATO group. Then moving further, Finland had contributed in a significant manner to the NATO-led operations in Afghanistan, Iraq and Balkan states. Only after step-by-step measures, Finland finally joined NATO group. As we know, Russia is not going to like it, and after the NATO welcomed its new member Finland, Russian government responded by telling that potential weapon systems and infrastructure could be deployed right next to its borders. So here the author says that Finland government should not exaggerate the potential threats from Russia, and the new government in Finland should engage in bilateral dialogue with the Russia to ensure peace in the region. So that is what said in the article. With this, let us close this topic. Now coming to the previous year prelims questions, these two questions that we are going to discuss now has appeared in the year 2018. So kindly listen. Consider the following statements. First statement, in the first Lok Sabha, the single largest party in the opposition was the Swatantra Party. The second statement says, in the Lok Sabha, a leader of the opposition was recognized for the first time in the year 1969. Third statement says, in the Lok Sabha, if a party does not have a minimum of 75 members, its leaders cannot be recognized as the leader of opposition. Which of these statements given above is or are correct? The options given are option A 1 and 3 only, option B 2 only, option C 2 and 3 only, option D 1, 2 and 3. See, the first statement is wrong because in the first Lok Sabha, the single largest party was the Indian National Congress. So let us take remove the first statement. So second statement is correct. Now consider the third statement. It says there has to be a minimum of 75 members in Lok Sabha. Only then its leader can become a leader of opposition. This statement is wrong because the leader of the largest opposition party should have at least 1/10 of the total strength of the house. That is 1/10 seat of total strength of the house, which means for example, if there is 545 seats in Lok Sabha now, you have to have at least 55 seats. Only then the leader of that party can become a leader of opposition. So minimum of 75 members and all, it is wrong. So the correct answer for this question is option B, 2 only. Now coming to the second question, consider the following statements. First statement, the Parliament of India can place a particular law in the 9th schedule of the Constitution of India. Second statement says, validity of a law placed in the 9th schedule cannot be examined by any court or no judgment can be made on it. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? The options given are option A 1 only, option B 2 only, option C both 1 and 2, option D neither 1 nor 2. See, the 9th schedule was added to the Constitution by the first amendment in the year 1951. This was done with a view to provide protection to land reforms. Okay, so the Parliament can place a particular law in the 9th schedule is correct. If you take the second statement, this is wrong because the Supreme Court has said that laws placed in the 9th schedule are open to judicial scrutiny. And the Supreme Court also said that laws which are placed in the 9th schedule do not enjoy a blanket protection. So this statement is wrong. The correct answer for this question is option A, 1 only. With this, let us wind up our discussion here. If you like the method of teaching and if you can understand the concepts well, please give a like, comment, share and subscribe to ForumIAS in various social media platforms. Thank you for watching.